Whether you like Richard Mille or not, you have to admit that a lot of work goes into those watches. And there is a reason why their price tags are so high. Maybe not as high as they actually are, but very, very high nonetheless. And today we're gonna take a look at an homage to a Richard Mille. Now there have been a lot of homages popping up. Today we have one that is very affordable and actually looks pretty good. Let's flip the camera and take a look at WISHDOIT. So technically this is the second Richard Mille homage that I have featured on my channel. The first one was more of a indirect homage. This is a very direct homage to Richard Mille. It comes in pretty nice packaging for the price of the watch. So it comes in an outer box. The inner box is a travel case, which, you know, I love to see. And of course, inside you have a watch. You also get a little cloth here. It's a microfiber cloth. It's in a brown color. It just says WISHDOIT on it. Now, that is the name of this brand. It's called WISHDOIT. I don't know where they actually came up with that name, but I do not think it's the greatest name that I have heard for a watch brand. However, when you look at the watch itself, if you are interested in the brand Richard Mille, you are going to notice that this is a pretty good homage for a very good price. Now, I think on their website they have these for around $500, but right now they're running a special. We can get this for like $389. They have a bunch of different versions and a bunch of different colors. There are a lot of details on the dial. Some of it is trickery and some of it is the actual movement, because they do use a skeletonized movement for this watch. I will do close-ups of the movement of the dial so you can see what I'm talking about. There's some bridges here which I believe are just part of the dial, and then there is a layer below that which is the actual skeletonized movement. And you could flip over the watch here and you can see that skeletonized movement. So this is probably a sort of Hangzhou or one of those factories out of mainland China that are making these, and that doesn't make it a bad movement at all. In fact, usually they're actually pretty reliable. They have been getting better and better at making these sorts of movements. Now, the decoration on the rotor doesn't really tie in with the rest of the watch. However, that is probably the only design element that I think doesn't work entirely, and obviously they can do other things besides what Richard Mille do, but since they are making it so close to the original, what they're homaging, I think that the rotor kind of doesn't fit. Other than that, they do skeletonize the bridges, and it's all in a dark coating. I don't know if they're actually PVD coating it or what they're doing. I also don't like the fact that it is a round, sort of a round peg in a square hole, because it's a rectangular shape, a tonneau shaped case. You have that circular movement. They didn't do anything to sort of mask that. And actually, I believe Richard Mille, most of them are circular movements, but they sort of mask that by using, you know, just covers and bridges and things like that to make it look like something that is a little bit more in line with the case shape. Now, let's talk about the case shape. It is a big barrel case, a tonneau shaped case. They call this the Pirate, and they're saying the inspiration comes from the barrels that pirates use, you know, I guess carry rum in and things like that. Obviously, we know where the inspiration is from. There is screws. These are screws that are meant to look like the screws that are on the top of a Richard Mille case. Obviously, not all those screws go through the case, and in fact, I don't think any of them really do. There is 4 screws on the back of this watch. I have no idea if they are functional. I would imagine they are not. It does say fashion watch right here. Again, don't know the choice behind that language. They named the watch WISHDOIT, and then they put the word fashion watch on the back of the watch. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think they probably should rename this watch, or think about renaming the brand and then taking off this word, the words right here of fashion watch. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But You can see from the case profile, you get a giant crown on here. Obviously, it's a little bit cut out. It looks like maybe a wheel or something like that, maybe a turbine. It's very, very large and very grippy. It winds very nicely, actually, the movement. Let's measure the crown, though, because the crown is quite large. 10.8 millimeters. I think this is the biggest crown I've ever measured on my channel. The case is big because, you know, Richard Mille are not small watches, so for a tonneau-shaped case at 42 millimeters, this is going to wear big on anybody's wrist. Although these are very comfortable. The case shape, the design of this tonneau-shaped case, obviously it slightly curves to the wrist. You have a curved sapphire crystal on here. That is hard to do. On the back it is flat, but on the front it is curved. So that is hard to do, I have to say. The lug-to-lug on here is only the effective lug-to-lug, because you're not going to get that the true lug-to-lug of where the lugs actually end, because you're never going to wear this on any other strap. So it's 56.5 millimeters. So it is a large lug-to-lug, but it is a little bit deceptive because this the strap integration into the actual lug or lugless system here is straight down. So it will curve to the wrist very, very well. And then of course the thickness, these aren't thin watches either, 15 millimeters thick. Now, there's reason for that because you do get a lot of depth to the dial. There's a lot of space between the movement and the actual sapphire crystal, and that's because obviously tonneau-shaped case, curved sapphire crystal. So very similar to a Richard Mille. Now, there's one other thing I want to say before I throw it on my wrist. You do need to keep in mind, in the United States at least, it has become a little bit of a problem when they see people, when, you know, criminals see people wearing a high-end watch. You know, people are getting robbed. And I just recently saw a story about in LA, someone being hit by a car. It might have been in Southern California, I don't remember. Someone being hit by a car by two people who were robbing that person for the watch that she had on. It was a quote-unquote follow home crime is what they were calling it. So, or follow home robbery, that's what it was called. So people are following people home. They see them at a restaurant with the Richard Mille on, and then they follow them home and then rob them. So they actually hit her with a car to get the watch, which is pretty crazy. So if you get hit by a car and you're actually wearing a WISHDOIT, I mean, the criminals will be very disappointed, but I think you'll be a little bit more disappointed. So it's something to keep in mind. It's a very flashy watch, and it does look a lot like a Richard Mille. Anyway, here's the watch that I am wearing on my wrist. It is the new NASA G-Shock, sort of the polar opposite of the WISHDOIT or Richard Mille. It is their new tough solar version of the NASA collaboration that they've done. This is the third watch that they've done. I believe it's only 3 that they've done. The first 2 are white and black, and this is the first one that they've done in all orange. And I have to say, it's my favorite one out of the bunch. It's also a limited edition. These have not sold out yet as of this video, so definitely something to check out if you are interested in that. But here is the WISHDOIT on my wrist. Like I said, this is actually pretty comfortable. It does wear large. I have 7.5 inch wrist. Obviously, it does look big, but it's actually pretty comfortable. These are comfortable. This is a solid stainless steel case. This does feel pretty well made. The case is finished decently. There's no sharp edges. You do have a line of polish along the edge of the case, and then everything else is basically brushed. So the top is sort of, I think it might be bead blasted, and so are the sides. So it's basically a matte finish except for your edges and those screws. You have a little bit of polish on there. And then, of course, the strap is yet another sort of lift from Richard Mille. You have this louvered strap, very automotive inspired. Really nice, actually. The strap is excellent. Soft, and obviously this is for relieving sweat and stuff like that. Just the buckle. The buckle is sort of a generic buckle that I've seen a few AliExpress brands use, but it is signed and it is milled, so it is a nice buckle. It's just that I've seen it a few times now. It's sort of a copy of AP, I believe, which kind of makes sense because it's all in the family. AP and Richard Mille, you know, sort of owned by the same, or are the same company. Anyway, very quickly, let's do a lume shot and then wrap up the video. There you go, they did lume the watch, so there's, you know, a little bit of lume on the dial. The 9 and 3 are lume. They are sort of Richard Mille style numerals as well. Obviously they're all applied because you really can't do it any other way because there is no real dial here to speak of, so everything is applied and filled with lume. Hands are lumed as well, not as liberally as I would say the 9 and 3 are, but there is lume there anyway. Pretty cool, really good price. $369 is a very good price for this watch. If you're interested in something like this, like I said, it might be a little bit dangerous to wear because people are robbing people for watches like this. But all in all, I think it's a good looking watch, comes in a very nice package, and it's pretty high quality. Movement wise, only time will tell, but everything else I think is really nicely done. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.